Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Questions with Caden. I'm your host, Caden Fabrizio, and we got a really awesome cast today. Like, I'm going to start calling it cast. Everyone calls it pod. I'm going to call it cast. How do you feel about that? Not good?
Not good.
No one likes it. Matt, how do you feel about it?
Sometimes we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Okay. Yeah, good word. Yeah. See, guys, that's why you bring people in your life. So welcome back to the pod. Today we got a fun episode, man. We're starting something new on the podcast. I talked about it, I think, in the last episode, but we're starting this new thing called What's Going On in the World. It's a new segment that we're going to do at Questions with Caden, where what we're going to do is basically we're going to go through what's happening in our world. We're going to go through the trending topics. We're going to go through things that are crazy, things that are funny. And what we're going to hope to do is give you a biblical worldview and a biblical lens to look at these things through. But the other side of this is we're going to have fun. Like, truthfully, there's so many things happening in our world that can be frustrating, things that can be dark. And we're going to process through how to, like, go about those things, how to walk through those things, the lens in which we should view those things. But there's also stuff in our world that's hilarious. Like, there's stuff happening around us that, like, we should be laughing at. So we're going to have a good time today. It's a lot of fun. We got Maddie B again on the pod. How you feeling today?
Feeling great.
Yeah, feel good?
Let's get started.
Probably need you more on the mic a little bit. You're a little, yeah, there you go.
You can
We
scoot
get
the mic closer to the end of the table, too.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, cool. Matt's feeling good. We taught him how to use a mic. Courtney Acuna on the pod, as always. I bet you guys are happy to see her again.
I mean, maybe not.
Yeah.
You never know.
Maybe they hated that episode.
Probably.
They're like, don't bring the producer back on keep her behind the camera. No, thanks for coming on. It's going to be awesome. I grabbed the two people that I thought would be best to go through this with. Also, the only people out that were here. But it's going to be a good Matt's face gets offended a little bit. He's like, dude, all right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I guess
Also
so.
facts.
Also facts, yeah. It's funny, Matt knew we were doing this, and then today I told Courtney when we got here, I was like, hey, you're going to be on the podcast today. So thanks for jumping in and being a good sport. Okay,
You know.
We're going to jump into the stuff, but before we do, we always have to, like, do our thing. Shout out Life Audio. Thanks so much for all you do for making this podcast happen. If you want more podcasts like this one, but never as good. Like, I don't know why I keep saying that. I should probably stop, but it might be true. Go to lifeaudio.com. They got podcasts on family stuff. They got podcasts on Bible studies. They got podcasts on all types of faith-based stuff. So go check them out. They're awesome, and I love them. Also, big shout out to You and Me Media and Courtney, literally right here, for just allowing us to use this amazing space, as always. If you need to rent a space for video, photo, podcast, or any creative needs, you can go to youandmemedia.co and you can click the rent
Studio.
I almost said studio. You can click the studio button and you can rent this place. You can sit in my fluffy chair and Courtney's fluffy chair and then Matt's nice wood table. Okay, other thing, subscribe everywhere, please. Helps us a ton. Lastly, merch is gone. You guys are supposed to respond. Oh,
I responded with my eyes.
you did. Yeah, the smize. Merch is gone, but it's for a good thing. We're coming out with new merch coming soon. Again, I don't think we're going to tell you what it is.
Don't leave it for the element of surprise or in case you change your mind, you know?
Yeah, true. But I don't think I will. I
It's
think
a good one.
It's a good one.
This one's going to be way better, no lie.
Yeah, Courtney.
No offense.
Let's be honest. Courtney hated the last stuff.
I didn't hate it. I think that we all love you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean we want to wear your name
Yeah, no,
across
I agree.
our chest.
I
or
don't even-
head or whatever. All
I
the time,
don't even
you know?
wear it. Yeah.
Exactly.
The hat, the thing that sold best was the hat.
The hat was dope.
That said, your questions don't scare Jesus.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll do another colorway of that, but that one's gone. So I think in a couple weeks, hopefully we'll be dropping
I'm
new
also
merch.
not trying to rip you on your own podcast. Sorry about that.
Ridiculous, dude. But hey, this is the reason that some people turn into what they turn into because they don't have people like Courtney and Matt who go, hey, that stuff sucked. It needs to be better. So we're going to make it better for you guys. And it wasn't that it was terrible.
It
just,
didn't suck.
It wasn't the potential of which I want it to be. I want this podcast merch to be something you guys are excited to wear, something that feels like more like a brand than like merch. You know what I'm saying? Because I even looked at like myself and the podcast I love, and I'm like, I'm not going to like put that on that name on my stuff. Like I wouldn't be excited to wear that. So we're gonna give you stuff you're excited to wear. Is that everything usually I say? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. All right, let's jump into this thing. We're gonna start. Should we pray?
Yeah, I think we should definitely pray going into this one.
Absolutely. This feels good though. It feels like a little different vibe than normal, which I really like. Feels good to have you guys both here. I love you guys a lot. Matt, you want to pray?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Dude, Jesus, thank you, Lord, for today, God. We thank you, Lord, for what you've done, what you're doing, what you'll continue to do, Father. And I just pray, Lord, for this podcast, God. I pray, Lord, that it would not be our flesh, God, speaking, but it would be you, Holy Spirit. And I pray, Lord, that the words that come out of our mouth, God, would not be our own, but they be yours, Father. I thank you, Lord, for what you're doing. I thank you, Lord, for the people that are going to listen to it, God. I pray, Lord, that you'd speak to them, God, that you would direct them and guide them, Father. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Shaba. Could you go ahead and interpret that? Just so we're biblically
Shaba?
sound. Yeah.
I ain't got it today.
Bummer. Okay. All right, Maddie, throw us the first. Maddie. I don't want to call you Maddie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I got to make sure that B's in there.
Yeah. I think
Maddie
we should.
B.
Maddie B. It's like John B. You know?
There's a restaurant in Texas, shout out Roanoke, called Maddie B's.
Maddie B's?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's make
Oh,
the
JK, it's called Marty B.
so different.
Marty Beast.
So different.
Sorry.
You know what that just happened? Maddie B just got a new name. All right, Marty B, go ahead. Give us the first one.
I don't think I can answer to Marty B. Could you imagine my name was actually Marty?
Yeah, I can because it is now. I'm going to change your email to Mart.
Anybody listening to this, the name Marty is a really good name. So
Yeah, if your name's Marty on here, I'm so sorry that Matt just offended you.
You know what's so funny?
We're going to have a meeting
I
about
love
it.
your name, Marty.
Is not only is Marty like an interesting name, my mom is named Marty.
Your mom's name is
Like
Marty?
like a female named Marty, which growing up I thought that was so normal.
Isn't that a male name?
Yes. So anytime I would hear like
Isn't the guy from Back to the Future named Marty? Marty McFly?
Yeah, Marty
Yeah.
McFly. Yeah. Your mom's real
Marty
name is
McFly.
Marty? Like full name? That's not a nickname?
yep.
Are you sure her name's not Martha?
Marty Joe Mercer.
Wow. She
Two
dropped
guy
she
names.
dropped the
I
full
had to
governmental.
think about
Full
it.
governmental.
I had to think
on it.
about it for a second.
We'll bleep it out.
Wow. That was,
Full government. You want to give her social too?
Yeah, it's
All right, Marty B, go ahead. Throw us the first one.
all right, so the first one on
The
the
pain in his
list,
face, dude.
cut the whole thing out.
Marty.
Hey, point it towards your mouth.
Yeah, let's teach you how to use a microphone.
What's going on here?
Guys, this is only Matt's second day, so we gotta.
Cut me some slack.
Yeah.
All right. The first one we got is alien sightings. So I read an article earlier saying Vegas police responds to a report of 10-foot creature in yard after a green flash across the sky.
I mean, sounds like it checks out.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't follow any hashtags other than UFO.
Okay, I have two things to respond to that. One, you can follow a hashtag.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Two, Matt didn't know that either. Two, so do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, for sure.
You do?
At this point,
What's
I
the-
also believe in conspiracy theories, but I do think that there's other life out there.
So you don't think that we're the only planet with life?
I don't necessarily know planet. I don't know. Like,
Do you think there's other galaxies? So are you telling me you believe in like a Marvel like?
there are other galaxies. That's factual.
Yeah, I'm saying, but you think there's other people in other galaxies?
I don't know if they're people.
The multiverse?
Yeah, do you believe in the multiverse? You could,
I
like-
think that if the devil can approach Adam and Eve as a snake and like them not panic that a snake's talking to them, there might be other life out there. That's all I'm saying. Other beings.
Questionable theology here. A question with Caden.
Person.
That's
Okay.
crazy. That's
Matt,
bold. That's
it
a
is-
bold
it is
statement.
a bold- Do you believe in aliens?
No.
Yeah.
I don't believe in aliens.
I'm with you.
I don't.
I don't
You don't.
think.
I'm not saying that there's other people with souls and like also needing Jesus necessarily. I'm just saying that
Here's the
there might be other beings, like animal type things that like live out there.
So do you think that they could like be intelligent enough to like create
Yes.
a spaceship to
Yeah.
fly here?
I do.
So they can.
That's wild.
That's crazy
That's
to me.
wild.
That is
So
crazy.
There's another planet out there.
So
I
you
don't
think
know,
that there's
guys.
creatures? This is the thing that threw me off. Because could there be intelligent beings outside of the Milky Way galaxy?
Have you seen these videos though? 'Cause
May-
they don't
let me
fake.
finish my thought.
Not all of
Could
them,
there
anyway.
be? Maybe. But the fact that you just doubled down and said they don't have souls is what just blew my mind. The fact that you think there's soulless beings that are creating spaceships.
I'm not saying that. I think
10-foot
it's like there's
soulless.
people living the same life on another planet is what I meant.
So
I
you
don't know. I
So
don't know.
you don't know if there's like aliens and like they have like a.
Okay, maybe let me reframe.
Okay.
I don't know or think. I would not be surprised if we come to find out later on that there are other creatures out there living.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay.
My thing is, so all the video shows is a green light in the sky. Okay?
There's no footage of the 10-foot guy.
No footage. No footage of that.
Well, obviously.
But there's a green light in the sky. My question is, how many videos are we going to get with random flashing lights in the sky?
Tons.
I mean, and every time we're just supposed to say it's an alien?
Yeah, I know. It's like every time a plane flies over you, is that supposed to be an alien?
Yeah.
You know, like when you're like driving somewhere, like if you're in the city or something and you see like those lights in the sky just like going crazy.
It's an alien.
Alien.
Has to be a UFO.
Has to be. Couldn't be a basketball game. It's gotta be an alien. Like green flash in the sky. Like I want to ask this guy first of all, first red flag, Las Vegas.
Oh.
Okay. Second red flag, probably all the things he consumed in his body in Las Vegas.
I have to ask, was that guy sober?
Absolutely not. You want to know?
Definitely on drugs.
Absolutely not sober at all. You want to know why? Las Vegas.
Wait, play the audio record. Play his 911 recording.
Does he have a 911
Yeah,
recording?
I'm sure if you click in it, it's there. I'm telling you, I follow this.
I'm
up to date on the
what's
UFO
crazy?
stuff.
What's crazy to me is that you saw what we're going to talk about today and
I
waited.
did not see.
You didn't know we were going to do alien sightings?
No, I haven't seen this list. That's why I'm so nervous.
Let's go.
We have to like cut on the podcast and like show the clip
Yeah,
of the
for
video.
sure.
Okay, we'll cut it. Yeah. Is there any way to get the audio in?
Yeah, just play the mic. Just play it over the mic.
Yeah, dude, just play it over the mic.
Should I just play like the news report of it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go
Video
ahead.
shows police response to UFO call.
Yeah, play that. Play
Bro,
that.
there actually is a video. This is kind of nuts. This creature here actually
See?
looks pretty crazy.
Wait,
I don't-
See?
This
Get
is
out.
like a
Wait,
thermal.
pause.
I don't know, dude. I don't know what this is.
There's a legitimate picture.
It's a Twitter CBK News. Watch actual alien footage from. I gotta play this. Hold on.
Courtney, how do I make these bigger?
Twist it and then pull.
I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually we terrified with.
So there's two people or two subjects that are in your backyard?
Bro, what is this?
Did Matt just start believing in aliens, dude?
This is a crazy tweet.
Big eyes. They have big eyes.
Dude,
like,
that's
like,
face.
I can't wait to see. I haven't seen this video. I've only heard it.
I gotta show you guys this video. This is actually pretty crazy. I mean,
Yeah, send the link to my email.
AI is a serious thing, but
That's true. You never know what's real anymore.
You gotta look at the hands. Have you heard that?
Okay, where is this
it's
on your
like
property?
thermal though. It's like
AI
black and
can't
white.
do
in my backyard.
hands. Have you heard the myth? Wait, send us the.
I'll send it right now.
Send it. Yeah, send it to me.
Those thermals. My brother is like what's the word?
Have you heard of Skinwalker Ranch?
No.
It's like this ranch that's supposed to be like have aliens living on it.
I did meet this guy the other day. I've known him for a long time, but I didn't know that he worked at the NSA for the last 30 years.
Did you ask him about aliens?
I did.
What did he say?
Definitely.
The source is so questionable.
He wouldn't
definite.
he wouldn't answer anything else. He wouldn't say anything else.
So all he would say to you, you said, "Is aliens real?" And he said, "Definitely."
I said,
No explanation.
no, I
Yeah.
said, okay, I kind of, because this video came out that he's looking at right now, came out, and I asked him, I said, what do you think? And someone made a joke, well, he's not allowed to talk about it because he works at the NSA. And I was like, wait, really? And he was like, yeah, I can't talk about it. And I was like, is the stuff that the government is putting out real? Yes or no?
You know,
And
Court,
he said, they're going to put out what they want you to believe. But what do you think? He was like, do you think that it's real? And I was like, I do think that there could be something out there. And he was like, I'd go with your gut.
I don't know. That feels like not a definitely.
Well, he's not allowed to say. He's not allowed to say.
You just told me that was okay. Big question. Really big.
Definitely with his eyes.
See, that's tough. Okay, Courtney, are you aware that like people that cross over the border illegally are called aliens?
Yes.
So when
But
we're
you know that there's a letter difference, right? Alien. It's an A-N and an E-N.
is there? Maddie, look it up.
Half of my in-law family are all illegal, so I kind of know. I've been to ICE. I've bailed someone out of ICE before.
Don't be
Not
throwing.
joking.
Don't be throwing the fam under the bus right
I'm
now.
not throwing them under the bus.
I already got to bleep out your mom's full governmental.
All my family are aliens.
yeah.
But it is spelled differently.
Are you a citizen of the United States?
I am not.
Oh yeah, there's a difference.
Oh, wow. Crazy what happens when you go to ice. All right, show us. Did you send me that video?
Yeah, I sent you the video.
All right, I have my laptop right here. We'll play it.
It's a pretty crazy video. That creature is just nuts.
I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually we terrified with.
So there's 2 people or 2 subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot. Nice.
Oh
8 foot.
my
I know them.
God.
They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes. Like
No
I can explain it.
shot.
Big mouth.
This is AI, bro. That's
My
My
fake.
question is, where did they get the
And they're not human. They're 100% not human.
equipment to video it like that?
Nah,
That
dude,
is
that's
AI.
so
That's what I was
fake.
saying. Is my brother's in. What is the word? Advent hunter? What's the word I'm looking for?
Advent hunter.
I don't know. Don't
he
make fun of
hunts
me.
on his way to Christmas.
What? No. What is the word I'm looking for?
Avid.
Avid. Thank you. Jeez, don't look at me like that. My brother is an avid hunter. He has $15,000 thermals like that you can see someone's heartbeat if they're like, it's crazy.
So he
but
can
that's
see.
definitely fake.
That's full AI.
Full AI. The fact that it kept Matt's attention that long, I just lost a little trust in Matt, and I'm the one here that's the UFO believer.
Matt, what do you have
It's just
to say?
a crazy video, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Either way, AI or not, that's pretty insane.
The initial start even blew my mind.
Yeah.
You're going, oh, that's scary.
Do I believe in aliens? No, but that's a crazy video.
So what
I
ended
do
up-
think that there are creatures that maybe we've never seen before. Like, we've never seen dinosaurs, and they're real.
That's a whole nother topic. Do you believe in dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Do you believe in dinosaurs?
I do, yeah.
Do you believe that they're scaled creatures like lizards?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
I've never thought about it.
I don't think because it's been proven that everything past bone structure in the dinosaurs is essentially made up. Like because all they know is how the bone structure would like fall together. Oh wow. They don't know like flesh structure, and they actually don't know.
Oh,
like,
that
skin.
checks. I could see that. They're like
So-
giant birds, maybe.
Yeah, so like they had there could have been other things like they could have been big birds. Some of them could have been like fluffy regular mammals. They weren't all like they've turned dinosaurs into this mass like lizard
Yeah.
species. But like the reality is they could have just been like larger animals that just had like fur, you know, or
Could
like
you imagine the
elephant skin.
hieroglyphics on the wall, like shading the scale?
Getting it, is it?
Where did we get the scale thing from? I don't know how this is helping people in their walk with Jesus.
I don't know either. I don't know either, but we're just having fun. It's just time to have fun.
I know.
Last thing. What did the police do when they got to the alien?
I'm going to assume nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like, what are they going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if this was real, the video wouldn't have been released either.
You don't think so? You think like the men in black would have like come and like stolen the video?
Yeah, like
Honestly, I
Ghostbusters
don't
just
know.
like roll up in
I'm
their van.
scared to
They're
say
like, oh,
anything
where's the
now.
alien at?
Yeah, where's he at? Okay. Here's a good question. This is how it relates to our faith. Does anything change in terms of our faith if there is aliens?
No.
No.
No way.
No, not at all. Like if there's other humans, which I always err on this side of things. If it's not stated in scripture, let's not add it. Like the moment we start adding things, I feel like we start getting in a lot of trouble. And then we were just kind of talking about that. Yeah. The gospel, the story of creation of Jesus, it doesn't need of humanity. It doesn't need like anything added.
Okay, well, what about angels coming down on chariots
What do you mean?
in the Bible? And
Yeah.
people, chariots, aliens, UFOs.
It's in the Bible. It's like, yeah, fine. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
I would actually argue that.
Considering that.
I would argue that. I would say some people could see supernatural things and they only know how to process them naturally.
That's
So they'd
what
go,
I'm saying.
oh, that's an alien. And I'm going, oh, maybe you saw a demon. Or maybe you saw an angel. I mean,
that was a demon in that video.
facts, dude. Shaba. We need to rebuke it in the name of Jesus.
Have you all ever seen a demon cast out or anything?
I've watched so many videos. Of
Matt,
like,
what about you?
I have, yeah. I've actually been in the room
let's go.
with like literal demons leaving
That's sick.
bodies. It's been crazy.
I actually thought at YONA the other night there was a girl that was gonna manifest.
Really?
Yeah.
I've cast out some demons
So sick.
in Africa.
Yeah, I could see that. They're here too.
Oh yeah, they're here.
When I was a kid, I used to have a lot of dreams that like demons would be chasing me. It'd keep me up at night. Like every night I'd have like these scary nightmares. And they were like, they're what I now would say they were like complete spiritual attacks because they were like vivid, like in the room, demons like trying to get after me. And I would like tell my mom. And one day she just said like, hey, in your next dream, you need to turn around and rebuke them in the name of Jesus. And so like literally that night, the same thing happened to me. Demons chasing me through this house. And I just like out of all the courage I had in my little body, I just turned around and was like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And they like screamed and fled. Wow. And I've never had like a demonic dream again in my life.
That's great.
So I've definitely had like demonic spiritual encounters.
Wait, did you say that in real life or in your dream?
I don't know.
Like when you spoke it, and were you in your dream or did
I was
you do it?
I was in the dream, yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if I actually spoke it out because the dreams would feel very like, what's that like phenomenon where you like can't move but you feel like you're awake?
Paralyzed. Yeah, you're like that.
It would feel like that, yeah. And like
that's a real thing.
And I like couldn't talk.
The amount of people that I've heard say like, I have had this dream and I feel like I'm being choked or like held down or I can't say anything. Yeah, and the only way out of it is Jesus.
Come on. Yeah, I think that's how it aligns. I think there's a lot of supernatural stuff we don't know what's going on. I think there is a supernatural realm, spiritual realm that like stuff is happening and there's a war going on. I think we just have to be aware of it and know where our authority is and that we're protected and that we have authority over those things. Okay, give us our next one. Courtney believes in aliens, dude.
That's bold. That's a
You
bold statement.
guys.
It's so bold, dude.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're out there.
Fair enough.
Do you think that they're like green?
No.
You think they have regular skin colors?
I think they're like spirit, like they could be a spirit being. Like, I don't know.
Look at me. Are you high?
I wish at this point, jeez. I can't take this pressure.
All right, this next one's gonna make Courtney melt.
I'm joking.
What do we got?
I am high on Jesus.
Shabbat, hey.
There we go. All right, number 2. So there was a school board in Ottawa, Canada. It told all the teachers to call all kids by they them pronouns permanently.
I can't even go here.
So I have like this little thing I read on it. So superintendents in the Ottawa School Board sent an email to all the staff suggesting they start the next school year using they them pronouns for all students until told they preferred pronouns. It also said teachings about LGBTQ identifiers should be embedded in the overall learning environment and are not open to debate or selective participation.
They're having these same conversations in LA County. I know that because I have a 5-year-old.
It's so crazy. Like,
nuts.
What do you tell your kid? Like, hey, you're going to go to school. Like, you're starting the school year, and we're going to send you to school, and they're going to call you they, which I know is something that's referred to multiple people, and you have to tell them that you are a he, him. Like, that's so, like, you have to tell that to your 5-year-old now. Like, the thing that 5-year-olds should be worrying about is, like, what toy they want at Christmas, dude. Like, why, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? Why are we stealing innocence? What do you think?
I meant what I said.
Look at her. She's frozen, dude. Bro. Frozen.
Well, it's like I either have to say literally nothing or I will offend a lot of people. The pronoun thing is where I draw. The pronouns for children is where I draw the line because I can do life with any kind of person.
Yeah, absolutely.
That believes
We're called
anything.
to. We're called to love
absolutely.
people. Yeah.
For someone to put that, it's a spirit.
Yeah.
It's a spirit of confusion. It's a spirit of, whatever the opposite of identity is. What is that? Insecurity? I don't know.
Sure.
Not knowing who you are? I don't know.
Yeah. It's the spirit of,
It just shows you how much identity is actually like such a Christian word. But
yeah,
it's true. That's what I'm saying is I'm trying to teach my kid who she is, who God designed her to be, all of these things. And you want to tell her that she's not a she. Like, I'm sorry, but I see these videos in my head. Like maybe you can play the Dr. Phil. If you Google Dr. Phil XY chromosomes, I think it'll come up. But it's basically this guy who's like, if you have 2 X chromosomes, if you you don't have a period.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just for kids who are like, my daughter is like asking questions like, why do boys stand in the bathroom?
Yeah.
And you're trying to tell this same human that she's not a she. It's like, it really pisses me off. It really, really frustrates me.
Yeah, well, for me too, it's like, that's why I wanted to talk about this one today, because to me, it's like being an adult and making a decision for your life is one thing. Being an adult and thinking and having an identity that maybe we wouldn't agree with, we're still going to love you through, but having that is one thing. You're an adult. You can make a decision for your life. Is it what we believe is the best for your life because of what Jesus has done for you and what Jesus is calling you into? Not necessarily. But what are we called to do as Christians? Love you, walk with you, walk within your life. But when we start placing these things onto children is when it just starts to tick me off. Because I think for one thing in particular, I think you can look back on in Scripture and look at how children and when children and younger generations were attacked or were perverted, like what ended up happening out of that in Scripture. Like you see, like when Moses was born, they had an attack on all the children. When Jesus was born, they had an attack on all the children. So like for me, right now I feel like I'm seeing attack on children, and that makes me really upset. But then at the same time makes me go, okay, we got to talk about this because the enemy's trying to stop something from happening because something's coming.
It's all that it's the only thing left to protect.
Absolutely. And I think if children are losing their innocence, I think we're stripping something from them that's even larger than that. Like Jesus calls us to have a childlike faith, but we're trying to steal that innocence even away from children. And so like when something like this happens, you're going, why are we attacking the kids? Like, why are we creating and forcing kids to do things that they may not necessarily believe in or even like identify with, but we're forcing this onto them? Why? Like, what is the point of this? I just see this and I'm just like, this is why. You know what I mean? What are we doing?
Well, they're trying to make a certain group of people feel included, but the thing is that these kids don't have the trauma that these adults have gone through that are needing the reverse like forgiveness to take place. So it's like we're just creating this whole new problem that didn't even like exist.
Yeah, it's like I think you're thinking about this, you're like, think back when you're first, second, third, fourth, fifth grade. Like, what are you thinking about in your life?
That's when you're like writing notes, like, do you like me? Yes,
check
circle no.
yes or no.
Like it's
now they're writing notes like, are you they, them, or he, him? You know, it's like, dude, it's like, let kids be kids, please.
Yeah.
And stop trying to steal innocence from kids. Because the unfortunate thing is kids have to grow up. Kids grow up, things happen in their life, trauma happens, they walk through things that suck. Like that, it happens. That's reality.
I have a theory.
So why do that earlier than it needs to happen? All right, go ahead, Court. Bring us to the theory.
She believes in aliens.
Yeah, if it has to do with
No,
take
Matt,
everything Courtney
okay.
says with a grain of salt. She believes in aliens.
For being our conspiracy theorist, you're not really backing me up yet today. But okay, listen to this. I've never heard this before. This is a thought. It is true that they use aborted babies' cells to keep vaccines what's the word, like good longer.
Yeah,
like that's real.
Yeah.
So what if part of this problem is male little boys are getting female cells injected into them when they're babies,
We've just gone down a crazy rabbit trail.
and now their genes are
What?
morphing with the opposite sex, and that's why there's so much genetic confusion.
No, it's because nobody's going to their kid and be like, no, you are a boy. Stop.
Yeah, it's all identity. And I think, Courtney, you nailed it on the head the first part when you said it's an identity issue.
Yeah.
It's a spirit of confusion, but also too, like even think about this in the Bible when I don't know, I can't remember the exact passage, but when Jesus casts out the demon legion,
Yeah.
it was they them.
They, them.
And I
Absolutely.
think when you cast plurals on people and kids, you open up so many doors now for the enemy to just be like, hey, you have no idea who you are and whose you are.
Yeah.
And that's where it's easy to attack a kid because the genetically their brain isn't up to par to be able to fight those thoughts.
Absolutely.
So you said it correct in the beginning.
Yeah.
And
And
You're
then
like, forget the second part.
Yeah, the second part is probably going to get cut out. That was wild to me.
You can cut it out. It's fine.
that was crazy.
That was crazy. Matt's dropping truth bombs. Courtney's like, what if pharmaceutical companies are changing DNA from
But
the
I'm just
inside
saying-
out?
No, but I'm just saying it plays in if they're doing it from the education system, why wouldn't they be doing it from the medical system too?
We do
sure.
see that though, even with soy products though. That is true. Okay, Courtney. So that is facts.
We'll
Even
give
with-
you soy products. They increase estrogen.
Yes. So you have a bunch of little boys.
Also, seed oils and things like that do as well. So I will, and we use seed oils are like the basis for most of like our food in America. So we'll give you that one for sure.
Oh my gosh, if we went to war with someone right now, we would be so screwed.
Oh, so bad.
We would be so screwed.
I don't know. Matty B would throw down, I feel like.
Oh, there's still some good ones out there for sure.
Yeah.
But as a whole, can you picture like the other countries looking at our Gen Z coming up, like being called into a draft, a military draft?
I read somewhere that like isn't like kids in like other countries like their TikTok is just like full of like education.
Yeah, that's
like,
real.
videos
In China, their TikTok is until they're 14. Their TikTok is only content that supports education, military, or like home ec.
And meanwhile, we're like,
That's real. It's real.
meanwhile, our kids are like we're shadow boxing, dude. Like,
It's a real thing.
no, I would say as much as we're like messing around, I would say the truth is it is identity. And I would agree. I always say that too, Matt. I always bring up the same story in the Gospels of Legion, Legion, what he talked about himself as they and them. And I think what's happening is a spirit of confusion has been, and a spirit of, one that's just like perversion has been cast onto our generation in terms of like perverting. Perversion is not purely sexual. Like perversion can be perverting the way in which we view and see things. And even that could even be identity. I think there's like a perversion of identity happening. And to me, I'm just going, dude, like out of like some people's belief of like, hey, let's give kids a choice to choose what they should be. Like, yeah, go hang out with like a 2-year-old to give them a choice about something. They have no, even like Mila, like we love Mila, she's 5, but like, don't give her a choice about
She
things.
has said to me before, I wish I was a boy so I didn't have to sit on the gross potty to go to the bathroom. Like she's said that. And it's like,
is that valid?
It's valid for sure, but you're a girl.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I cut that out right away.
Absolutely. So yeah, I would just say this. I would say, I want to be clear. We in this room are called to love everybody. And let me see if I can communicate what Courtney communicated once. Not so good. We as Jesus followers, that was a joke. I'm kidding. She did a great job.
No, I didn't. It's fine.
We as believers are called to love people. We also are called to preach the gospel in love and in truth. And the reality is there's truth with no love, it's not true, it's evil. But if there's love, but with no truth, it's a lie. So what we're trying to do at this podcast is say, hey, we want to give you a little bit of love and truth. We love people in the LGBTQ plus community. We love them. The truth is, we believe that Jesus has a higher calling for their life. We do. That's the truth. And if we stopped at, we love you, we would be leaving you and being I think we would be doing you a disservice to what we're called to do as Christians, and would be call you closer to Jesus and higher in your life. Hopefully I communicated that well.
I don't want something I say on a public forum to be the reason that like they're set back.
Absolutely.
Out of like anger or hurt even. So that's where I get like actual physical anxiety is the thought of that. But at the end of the day, like Jesus turned the tables over in the temple. Like I'm not afraid to do that. It's just I do want people to experience true freedom. And if I say something, I don't care what anyone else says, but if I say something that were to ever set someone back, I would hate that. That's my fear.
Well, that's part of watching your witness, one, but also two, like I was telling my folks yesterday, I'm like, I'm going to do this segment and we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. And they were like, don't do it. Like you're going to get canceled or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but someone has to start talking about these things.
Yeah.
Like somebody has to stand up. If people get upset, whatever, like, if Jesus was here, he would be talking about it.
And that's the thing too, bro, is people are going to get upset by you playing safe.
Bro, people got upset that I had a YSL t-shirt on.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we playing?
Jesus would do it so perfectly though.
He would do it so. I mean, I'm not doing it anywhere as good as he would, but truthfully, do you think it's been said decently well?
Yeah.
Okay, good. 100%. We're good. Let's move on then.
Yeah. All right, cool. So number 4 is we got Conor McGregor knocked out a mascot.
I actually is really excited to talk about this one today.
I love Conor McGregor.
This one's wild.
Can you hit that video?
Of him?
Yeah, we'll cut that video in of him just beating.
Have you all watched his documentary?
I haven't. for the listeners, this is going to be one of those episodes, of course, available on YouTube that you're probably going to want to go watch on YouTube. If you're listening in the car, at the gym, in your room, just on audio, obviously, hopefully you're still having a good time. But we're throwing in a lot of stuff that you're probably going to want to see on YouTube. So go check that out and subscribe.
I'm trying to find this video. I have to read this part, though. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, read it.
So I was reading the article. It said the Heat said Saturday that the employee who was not identified received pain medication and was resting at home. McGregor was there as a promotional gimmick for a pain relief spray. So it gets crazier. And was booed by many in the Miami crowd even before the bit started. The Flame mascot was wearing oversized boxing gloves and a robe to what a fighter would wear entering the ring for a bout. McGregor hit Bernie with a left hook, knocking him down, then punched the mascot again after he hit the floor. So he's on the floor and McGregor hits him again. But
yeah, bro.
McGregor then tried to spray, quote unquote, the mascot with the pain relief product while several members of the Heat's in-game promotional team dragged Bernie off the court. Could you imagine that? Like, you're just getting pummeled on the ground at a basketball game and a homie's just spraying you with this pain relief spray. Like, I would be so pissed.
Have you seen the
I'd
video?
be hot, bro.
Have you seen the video?
Yeah. He's literally...
Dude throws a hard Conor McGregor left hook. Like, dude does not throw like we're having fun. He throws dude, it's going to hurt the guy. Left hook.
And maybe, though, he just really thought that the massive costume would protect him a little more.
Or he just believes too much in his pain reliever spray. And then the funny part is the dude's on the ground.
Bro, he barely sprays him. He goes...
And then Conor McGregor does like a finishing punch to his face that you can see is the one that probably actually hurts him.
Yeah.
Because the guy goes like this to his face, like immediately.
His whole body, like,
yeah.
crunches. Yeah.
You saw it too.
Yeah.
McGregor knew he just put him in the hospital too, like after. He's like,
how are you going to bring this one back around to Jesus? I'm so curious.
I'm not.
Let's hear
This one I just saw on TikTok and I was like, we have to talk about this because it's hilarious.
It is hilarious. Have you seen the documentary?
Of Conor McGregor?
Yeah.
Of Conor McGregor? No, I haven't.
It's so good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
What is it? What's the best parts about it?
Oh, gosh. Just I would say, because I had ankle reconstruction, I snapped my ankle running. And Kobe's documentary got me through that recovery. This was like 10 times worse. His recovery from
when he did the
when his bone snapped. Yeah.
Oh, dude. I was watching that fight.
But
I'm not even a fight guy. I was just at some friend's house and they had it on.
Oh my gosh. He is relentless though. His ability to work hard and
yeah, it's crazy.
who was that against?
Anderson Silva, maybe?
I have no clue.
I don't know. Google that. I don't know, but I just thought this one was funny. And I also kind of thought about this. I thought it's funny, but things like this only happen when only happen to guys like Conor McGregor who like lose sight of like who they actually are. You know what I mean? Like I think that there's always like something like this, and not to try and make this like spiritual when it's not. It's just like Conor McGregor did something stupid, but like you get to a certain point where you can start to feel a little bit invincible. And to the point where you throw like an actual hard left hook, not thinking that this is actually going to hurt somebody.
Yeah. He definitely kind of has that God complex.
Absolutely.
I will say when he did in the documentary, they showed him going, I thought this was so cool. They showed him his community service, like, you know, when they threw the chair in the bus.
Oh, yeah, he went crazy.
He went crazy after a fight, and was it him or someone on his team that actually threw the chair?
I think his team like started it, but he threw the chair. I'm pretty sure.
So he had to go to court. Was it LA? I feel like it was LA.
Probably.
Or Las Vegas. Like wherever the fight was. Las Vegas, man.
Checks out.
Checks out.
Aliens.
He's like throwing the chair. He's like,
saw
I
an
saw
alien.
a green flash.
But his community service is done in a church. And he's just mesmerized by the right, you know, to him it's just like sayings and writings and stuff, but he's mesmerized by it.
That's kind of cool.
It really like touches, he's like crying in these churches. No one's talking to him. He's just sweeping the floor.
Wow, he's having like an encounter.
He really did have an encounter. And then right after that, you know, they're showing him with his kid and stuff. And it's like, you get to see the progression of his maturity through the documentary. I will say though, last week he punched the mascot.
Yeah. So. I hope though that there's someone in Conor's life that could give like language to what he experienced in that church.
I hope so.
Wow.
Maybe it's us. Hey, Connor, what you experienced in that? Like, dude, he's not listening.
Maybe it's Carl. Just kidding. Too soon?
Wow, Courtney. That was nuts. You know what this reminded me of? Have you seen that video of Shawn Mendes?
Yeah.
When he talks about listening to Mav City.
Yeah, and he can't
yeah.
explain it.
And he
yeah.
can't explain, but he starts breaking down crying, and he's like, I can't explain like what I was feeling,
But you can't deny it's from God.
but you can't deny that there's like a higher power, and he doesn't know how to put language to what. That breaks my heart. I like genuinely have prayed for
He's
Shawn
in church
Mendes.
now. He goes to church home.
Is he?
Yeah,
No way.
my friend was just randomly sat right next to him at church home.
Dude, that's huge. I think you could see God was chasing him down.
Yeah.
Because even to have an encounter, I think the presence of God is very evident through like what Mav City's doing, like some of their songs and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
But to see that like he just was on YouTube and found a video, I don't believe in coincidence, found a video on YouTube and then had an encounter.
Yeah.
Now he's in church. I just think that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's like the sign, like if anyone was waiting on a sign, not from the Lord, but from me. Keep doing what you're doing. You never know.
Is that your word for them?
Someone's like
Keep
sitting around
doing
just,
what
like,
you're doing is your encouragement.
I
someone's
mean,
sitting around
sometimes
going,
I need someone
"Can
to
I get
tell
a
me
word from
that.
Courtney right now.
You know what, guys? I'm
Somebody logged on to QWC today and was like, man, I can't wait for this week's episode. I just really need a word from Court.
Driving in their car.
And we're just like, I think that's actually why we have listeners on this podcast. And then they're just like hoping Courtney comes on to drop some bars. You've got that KCM,
All right, guys.
KCM
All right.
anointing on you. Okay, give us the next one. That was a silly one.
Alrighty, we kind of got another silly one though.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
All right,
I'm here to have a good time.
So Donald Trump going to jail. How are we feeling?
I'm actually I'm eager to talk about this because I don't know much about it. I will say this is my fault. I don't know much about it because my mom, she like knows about a ton of this stuff and is always like sending me stuff and telling me stuff. And I've at this point just kind of started to tune it out because it's just like sending me so much
same.
stuff. So I am eager to know like what is going on. Let's talk about it. And I'm eager to see like how we should process this as Christians because truthfully, a president of the United States is getting arrested.
Yeah,
That's actually a very big deal.
100%.
So we should talk about that. Give me a rundown, Maddie. What do you know?
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, Marty.
Marty. Gosh dang it. I don't know if I'll ever get used to that one.
There might be Marty merch at some point.
Marty merch, bro. Wow. Okay. Anyways, so we got. I don't really know too much, to be honest, about like what actual the charges are. I've talked to my dad. I used to really get into like the legal side of all this. When it came to this, it felt like a big runaround to me.
Yeah.
What I do know is that everything that Donald Trump is being charged for, also on the other side in the news as well, President Biden is being accused of the exact same things.
Wow.
So my thing is just like, okay, how can one be getting prosecuted, but one is also walking the streets, free? So
Yeah.
I just don't, that double standard is a little weird to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing, I think I've seen that stuff. I've seen like, Donnie is getting arrested for stuff that, like Donnie, are we on that level? Like Donnie's getting arrested for stuff that like Hillary did.
Yeah.
And like he's getting arrested for stuff that like Biden's getting accused of right now too. This is just my thing. I'm just going, the lack of congruency to me is the issue. Because when you think about like America and like what we're supposed to be standing for and what this country was built on, which is like Christian ideals and morals and values, you have seen over the last few years like the slow breakdown of those values. Yeah. And then it comes down to things like this where you're going like, oh, this may not like really have anything to do with that, but it actually does. Like it actually has to do with like, if America keeps going in this direction where we stand for nothing, essentially, because that's what we're doing. We're standing for nothing. Because if one person can get away with the exact same thing another person's getting arrested for, that means we have no stance.
Yeah.
We just have bias. And if we have fallen to that level, that means we are not standing on anything anymore. There's nothing that's keeping this country accountable. There's nothing that's keeping its citizens accountable. There's nothing that is allowing the United States to like still stand for these values that we have been known to have, that have like allowed us to be this like successful Christian nation.
Yeah.
So that's like, for me, that's the biggest thing. Like, I think for Christians, for us, I think how we should be processing something like this is like, it sucks that you see something like this happen in terms of the non-congruency of both sides. Like, whether you want to say Donald Trump should get arrested or not, that's not what we're here to like talk about at all. We're here to say, biblically speaking, who is in control? Biblically speaking, how do Christians respond? Because it's easy, because I think you can say, I mean, a lot of Christians probably err more on the conservative or the right of things. And it's easy for conservatives and people who would call themselves Christians and be on the right side of those things to get angry at something like this, which would cause more disunity or would cause them to lash out against the other side, which then you could also see at the same time, the other side is mad and they're doing this to Donnie because it's just this battle, this head-on collision of disunity and anger and just, it's terrible. So I would say for Christians, like, the response is not to get mad.
Yeah.
The response is not to have more fuel to find a way like, oh, see, this is why that's not the response. Like, that's not how Jesus would have responded in this situation. It's your excuse to be angry towards another group of people that don't believe what you believe because of a political party is very counter-gospel. It really is. Like, if you pick a side and the side that you vote on determines how you treat and love people that disagree with you is counter-gospel. Because when Jesus sat at the table of tax collectors and sinners, those would have been, like, theologically in those days, the other side of like what Jewish people would have believed. They would have been their left or their right. But Jesus sat with them and he loved on them and he taught them the gospel. If Jesus would have allowed his political views, let's call them, to get in the way of how he treated those people never encounter the gospel. They never hear about the love of Jesus. So the reason I wanted to talk about this one today is I'm like, hey, there's something happening in our country that's setting a actually scary precedent and could also be fuel for people to be really angry or upset or a lot of conversation. And I would just say this, yeah, have the conversations. Yeah, like either agree with it or disagree with it, yes. But you need to decide what you stand on. You need to decide, do you stand on a side? Do you stand on the right? Do you stand on the left? Do you stand on a donkey or an elephant? Or do you stand on the lion of Judah? You know, like you got to decide what is your foundation of, and what does that foundation allow you to do? Does it let you love people well? Or in some way, is it causing you to have bitterness and anger against another group of people that you should be loving?
Yes.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I read this thing one time basically saying that the two-party political system is actually the most simplest form of doing anything with controversy.
Yeah.
Just because you have two people with two different sides now pinned against each other. Yeah. And I think realistically that's just what our government has always tried to do, has just pin one side against another.
Absolutely.
And even just practically, you know, the election's coming up. Mm-hmm. And it's like, not to get political here, but like, how come every time the election comes up, there's something that goes on that's tried to pin against Donald Trump? Yeah. And I'm not like here to, you know, whoever you vote for, you vote for. Yeah. But just you have to question, like, what's the goal here?
What's the intent? Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
That's my, like, one of my frustration with the whole thing in general is the two-party system. We're going to stay divided as long as it exists. Absolutely. It doesn't matter who's better. Like, division will take place the entire time. And then my other issue with it is just my lack of trust in the legal system in general. Because it's like, even if the legal system didn't have payouts or didn't have this, or like it was actually like by the book, okay, well, half the country wants to defund the people that like keep the legal system in place. So it's still like another roadblock. Like, to me, it's hard to sometimes not look at the future of our country and not feel a little hopeless. Yeah. I don't, but like, it's hard to not.
No, totally. I think that's where a lot of people could be. I think I'm happy you brought that up, because I think it is easy to look at something like this and start to become hopeless with like the future of our country. But I think that's like sometimes where we go wrong, is going like, oh, my hope is in the future of this country. Like, no.
No, of course.
Your hope is in Jesus. Like, and I'm not saying that that's what you believe, but I think a lot of
Well,
people.
no, it's true. Ever since I had a child, like I think about what it's going to be like when she's in high school, and I don't like it.
Yeah, and I think the reality is, it goes. Yeah, I wish like the hope of this country, the future of this country is disheartening, but then you go, but my hope's not in this country, and my hope is, I understand that like no person you put in power is ever going to be a perfect enough leader to iron out the problems, the transgressions, and the sin of humanity in the world that cause the things that we're like walk through and see. Like my hope has to be in Jesus. Like my hope has to be in the coming of Jesus, in how Jesus can renew and redeem, and how he can start revival in an instant with some obedient people. Like your hope has to be in that, because you could put a Republican candidate in office. You could put a Democrat candidate in office. Nobody's going to fix any of the issues. Like you want to look in this, you want to look in scripture. Like you look at like the best Israelite kings. King David, one of the greatest Israelite kings, great ruler. Still lots of crap happened. Still lots of stuff went down. You know what I mean? Like King Solomon, one of the wisest kings. Still lots of crap happened. Still a lot of Israelites began to worship other pagan gods. Like, even though there was a good, godly ruler, you know? So like our hope is not in who's in the White House.
Yeah, who's in the White House actually doesn't faze me really that much.
Yeah, it's like our hope is who's not in the White House, who's in heaven.
Yeah.
Our hope is like who dwells inside of us. Like who is the hope of the world? His name is Jesus. Pin, mic drop. Next question. Courtney, you doing okay over there?
I'm great.
Okay. I just wanted to make a quick comment. Today, me and Marty B, we ate meat out of a bag.
Well, I feel like you gotta.
No.
Need some content.
Another
You
details.
gotta guess.
Another details.
Cool. Yeah, meat out of a bag. That's what we're going.
That's okay. Down the street from the studio is this like what is it, like a Latin market?
Yeah.
And it's actually really cool. We went in there, got some like fresh squeezed juice, and like, but they had like a meat counter, and me and Maddie B over here both are like little carnivores. So we were like, hey, let's get some like meat and some fruit. And so I ordered a whole chicken. Matt ordered some like pork ribs, right?
Yeah.
And my girl handed us, I think if you watch the BTS stuff, it'll probably be in the BTS stuff, right? But they hands us a bag, just like these plastic bags with like ribs and chicken in it. No box,
Nothing.
No covering. I don't know why I told you guys that. I just thought it was hilarious. I'm also getting hungry, so that's probably what Okay, next question.
All right, the next one is, I'm reading the notes here. It says Mr.Best, but I'm assuming we meant to say MrBeast.
Yeah, who wrote those?
Yeah, not Caden.
Yeah.
MrBeast bought $1 billion belt.
Yeah, did you see that?
I did not. I actually did not see
Did you see that, Court?
Didn't see it.
I saw it.
$1 billion belt.
I think what's funny is like we're doing this like trending thing, but I think Courtney would know that I'm like the person that pays like the least attention to like any of this stuff. So
I'm constantly like, you don't know who that is?
always Courtney's like saying like, you know who and I'm like, I don't have any idea what. She's like, did you hear about what happened? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like live under a rock. But I was looking at like stuff yesterday and stuff that's been going viral. But MrBeast, he went from buying a yacht from $1 all the way up to buying $1 billion yacht. Like Google it, play the video.
$1 billion.
Who sold a yacht for $1?
So he found this guy in like Florida who had like a broken down yacht that was just costing this guy money. So MrBeast was like, I'll pay you $1 for it. And the guy was like, fine, just get it off my hands. He put it in the water and it literally sunk to the bottom of the ocean while they're in it. They like had to like jump out of the boat as it was sinking.
Wow.
But I want to show, I want the people to see. We'll put like a clip in. Can you get copyrighted for this stuff?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
They do it on Joe Rogan. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, Maddie's like our Jamie. Hey, Jamie. His face. He's like, I'm gonna quit.
My name is Matthew.
This is a $1 million super yacht, and it's big enough to hold an entire city on the water. How do humans build this stuff? And I'm going to show you the difference between this and a $300 million mega yacht, a $50 million giga yacht, all the way down to this $1 yacht. Why did you sell me this boat for $1?
The storages just keep racking up.
Yeah.
$18,000.
It's cost you 18 grand a year to store this.
18 grand a year to store a boat.
Thank you.
And after stepping on board, it was pretty clear why this yacht only cost $1. Okay, now that we're on the water, what are we working with here?
Bro,
I don't think the floor's supposed to do that. I don't know if this is even worth $1.
Oh, we're actually sinking.
It literally sinks, bro.
They're like running across the
right when we
boat.
put it in the water.
to try to get to.
They literally have to like run.
Oh,
to
they're
get
like
up the boat.
swimming now.
It sinks, dude.
Oh man.
That was the $1 yacht. Later in this video, we have a $50 million
Dude,
yacht,
that
a
$1 billion.
$300 million
That's
yacht, and the
crazy.
$1 billion
Isn't that
super
thing insane?
yacht.
Could you imagine being in a position to be able to buy $1 billion yacht?
That's exactly what I wanted to talk about.
That's crazy.
That is exactly, and when Courtney comes back, that's the exact thought I want to talk about.
That's nuts.
Have you ever watched MrBeast stuff at all?
I haven't.
Me neither. I just have always heard about it, and I was on TikTok literally yesterday, just like scrolling through like the trending stuff, and kept seeing this, and then it just got me thinking. So I just wanted to like talk about what I was.
Are you a YouTube guy?
Yeah,
You are?
yeah. I like YouTube. I usually just watch all golf content.
Really?
Strictly like golf content.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've never been a big YouTube guy.
Really?
I watched Nelk Boys like in the beginning.
Okay. Yeah.
But once 905 Shooter left, I was kind of like,
Yeah.
over it.
I don't know who that is. I'm a Christian, Matt.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm newly saved.
Yeah. I'm newly saved. I'm on a journey.
Yeah.
Did you see Spider-Man?
Yeah, I did.
Dude, so good.
It was funny actually. I watched the first Spider-Man.
Hey, Courtney, we're trying to film a podcast. Do you mind sitting down?
What was the first one? Across the Spider-Verse?
Into. Now,
Into.
this one was across.
So I watched Into the morning of me watching the second one.
Did you watch it for the first time? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I did the same thing, but I didn't watch it for the first time. I just wanted to like
Oh, really?
watch it. Yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
So we went this last Saturday. I went with a buddy and we watched it.
Me too.
Dude, no way.
Would Mila like it? She loved the first one.
She would love it, and it's
She has all the
It's like
merch.
super clean.
It's a cool
She
movie.
literally had to go Spidey for her fourth birthday
So
party.
cute.
Go Spider theme.
That little kid Spider-Man show is so cute. But yeah, it was fire, dude.
That's dope.
Did you like it?
I did, yeah. I thought the way it ended was kind of threw me off. It felt like an Infinity War type vibe.
It did, dude.
And I was like, this is dope. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, me too.
Rumor has it they're going live action.
Are they going to live action Miles?
Yeah.
I want a live action Miles. Miles might be my favorite Spider-Man. Back to the MrBeast thing.
MrBeast.
So Court, this is just give Courtney a quick rundown on what MrBeast did.
So basically, Courtney, MrBeast bought a yacht for $1 and then ended up trading that yacht for a more expensive yacht every time.
So essentially, no.
That's not what happened?
So basically, what he did is
I didn't watch the video.
He bought like a $1 yacht, and then I think he started buying other yachts and worked himself all the way up without trading. I don't think it doesn't say anything about that in this video.
Okay, sorry.
No, I assumed the same thing though.
Okay, fair enough.
But he essentially just keeps buying to show you like what the different levels of yachts are until he spends $1 billion on a yacht. First of all, I didn't know MrBeast had $1 billion, and second of all, I saw this yesterday and it got me thinking like.
No, he's probably not paying cash.
Courtney's like, he took out a loan.
I don't know,
Probably
160 million subscribers on YouTube.
You think he doesn't have $1 billion?
Google his
But all
his
the
worth,
all
his
the
net val- his
all the
net worth.
paid ads this guy does.
Yeah, maybe. I wanted to say this though. This is what I wanted to talk about. Number one, what would you genuinely do if you had $1 billion? And two, why are things like that so intriguing to us?
Because it seems unfathomable to have that money and to spend it on that.
Yeah.
Especially a yacht's probably just like the worst thing you can buy.
Yeah, it's like
It just instantly depreciates.
depreciating
You
asset.
barely spend any time on it unless
Yeah.
you're renting it out and making some money from it. If I had $1 billion, I'd probably spend 80% of it on real estate. I don't think people realize how much $1 billion
It's
is.
literally so much money.
You can have $1 million. You can spend $1 million. What is it? You could spend $1 million like every day for a year and never run out of money. Like that's like $1 billion is so much.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of. Like I need to check my math.
Yeah, check that. It's super off. But
It's not. It's not.
That would be wild.
yeah,
No,
$1 million a
$1
year. I know you could spend it, but you'd still have money left over.
Times 365 is only $365 million dollars.
Okay, that's what you're saying. I thought you were saying that like $1 million a day for a whole year equals $1 billion.
No, I'm saying you could spend $1 million a day for a year and
it wouldn't
not
even be
run
like a
out.
day. It wouldn't even be
it's
a
not
day.
even half.
It's so crazy.
I don't think people realize how much $1 billion really is.
It's wild.
That's why when they offer Messi $1.6 billion to play in the Saudi soccer league, it's like insane.
We should talk about that after this though too. That's a crazy thing to talk about.
What would y'all do with a $1 billion yacht?
So I think the question was, what would we do with $1 billion? Obviously, Courtney,
Sorry.
I would tithe.
Of course,
I would tithe
gotta get
first.
that 10% in.
God, it's His money. I just like did this so that I could like lead into it. So if you want to give, go ahead and go to donorbox.org/YONA. No, I think the bigger conversation is like less of what we would do with $1 billion, but like why is that something that goes viral? Like why do we care about something like that? Because like the thing that I've been like realizing a lot lately is like I went to Stagecoach this last Stagecoach, which was in April. A buddy of mine played, so I got hooked up with some tickets, which were awesome. Shout out Micah, it was so much fun. But
I was honestly surprised to see you there.
yeah, it's like so not like a normal scene for me of like what I would do, but like my buddy and his sister were playing and they gave me tickets, and not to flex, but they were backstage VIP. So
That's
obviously,
kind of the only
you're
way
flexing.
I would go do
absolutely I'm flexing. So
the
like,
festival, I think.
oh, absolutely, I'm not gonna go stand next to a bunch of drunk people and get thrown up on in like the 105-degree heat. I need a trailer. So it's like so bougie, but no. So I say all that because I was standing watching Chris Stapleton, which I love Chris Stapleton.
Gosh, I love
He's
him.
so good, and he was so good live. But I was standing there watching him, and dude, I was like in the pit because this sounds like such a flexing story, but it really is not. I was standing in the pit, and I turned around to look at like the literally hundreds of thousands of people that were there. Like, I don't know what the exact number was, but it was hundreds of thousands of people as far as the eye could see. I'd never seen that many people before.
Wow.
And I was literally like 2 or 3 rows off the front. The only reason I turned around is because Chris Stapleton goes, "Wow, that's a lot of people." So I turned around literally like as far as the eye could see people. And I'm trying to have this fun moment, like listening to Chris Stapleton, and I like heard the Holy Spirit like, there's like over 100,000 people here that Chris Stapleton is giving them nothing of value.
Yeah.
Like they've come and maybe they had fun that night and whatever, but like there was no value imparted to those 100,000 people. If anything, they had an excuse to drink or goof off or do whatever. Like there was no value imparted to these people. And I was looking at hundreds of thousands of people at this concert, not saying it's a bad thing to be at this concert, but I was going, the stuff that we've started to value is so interesting in our culture. Like we value Chris Stapleton standing in front of 100,000 people, and people are like, man, I want to do that. I want to play music in front of people, country music. Yeah. But what are we giving people of value? So like when we see like MrBeast buy a $1 billion boat, and people are like, that's so cool. I would love to be able to buy a $1 billion boat, dude. Like, this is so awesome. I can't believe he would do that. Like, yeah, but it has no value. Like if you're thinking with like a heavenly mindset about the things in life that actually have value, you like stop thinking about like the worldly things like a $1 billion boat, and you start realizing like what in your life really does have value. Like you start realizing about like people's souls, and you start realizing things like how you're sharing the gospel. Are people saved? Are people around you feeling supported? Like, are there people in your life that like want to kill themselves and there's nobody that they can talk to? Like, you start to understand the things in your life that are valuable. And I just think it's interesting in our culture how like these things like MrBeast boat, which is not like intrinsically bad, but it is something in our...
It's intrinsically stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But it's become those things that like we've put that at the pinnacle of value.
Yeah.
You know, like we go like, oh man, I can't wait till I pop off and I can buy the car and I can get the house and I can like, you know, have all this stuff. And it's like, none of that stuff is intrinsically bad, but when that's what we value, it's when we get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I think our generation, this generation, I think that we're so obsessed with the things that we'll never see.
Yeah.
The things that we'll never be able to touch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, like MrBeast buying a $1 billion boat. A majority of us will never touch that money. Never be in a position to be able to buy that boat. Like, and so it a lot of it, I think, is just an excuse for people to escape their own reality, escape their own thoughts and the way that they feel about certain things, because they can just kind of live vicariously through MrBeast and be like, yo, he's got a cool opportunity to buy this $1 billion boat. Like, I'm going to feel like I can do that too just by watching his video.
Yeah. No, dude, I'm with you. I think that comes down again to too is like what again are you valuing in your life? Like, what are you trying to aim at? You know, like what is that thing in your life that's is I don't necessarily think like, oh, it's bad to have like some sort of like external motivation for things. Yeah. Like, truthfully, I would love for this podcast to continue to do well and then make some good money so I can buy a new car. Truthfully. Like, I need a new car. My car is getting high in miles. But like, truthfully, it's like, I don't think those motivations are necessarily bad. But when I come in here and sit down in this podcast, I'm not thinking about my new car. I'm sitting down in this podcast, I'm going, I'm praying every day that like somebody is impacted by this podcast in a way that transforms their life, so that then they're impacted and they go impact the people in their life, and those people go impact the people in their life. I'm just like thinking a lot about like, what are we valuing and what are we motivated by? Because I think even in like, as Christians, we can be like, we can get, not to be like an anti-prosperity preacher guy, I'm not that guy, but like we can get so like, yeah, I just can't wait for God to like bless me with the money and the car and the house and the wife and the kids. I just can't wait to be blessed by God. But I'm saying like, what is the motivation behind that? Like, what if it's just like, I just can't wait to get more of God, not more of what God can give me. Like, I can't wait to get more of God, not more of like what comes of getting to know more of God. And I just think like these kinds of things always just get me thinking about that. So I just wanted to talk about it a bit.
Yeah. I was birthed out of the prosperity gospel. So
I know.
It is hard for me to sometimes unsee it.
Yeah.
And not treat God like a vending machine, because sowing and reaping is very real.
No, I'm not against any of that.
I know you're not, but I'm just saying I was raised in such a foundation of into this financially, or your time, or whatsoever you give, therefore like you will receive. Yeah. And I should stop quoting scripture. I never get it right.
Yeah, every time.
You know what I mean? Anyway, that's why I'm not a preacher, but you know what I'm saying though, like whatsoever you sow you will reap is real. Yeah. Like it is real. Yeah. And so it is hard in that case to not treat God like a vending machine, because money is the area that he tests me. But what prosperity people get wrong so often is that it's about money and not about the heart. And I think that God, if he can't trust you in your heart, he for sure isn't going to trust you with money.
Absolutely.
And people chase and chase and chase, and there's grace, don't get me wrong. So that's where it gets confusing when you do treat God like a vending machine, but he knows your heart. So it's like hard to undo some of these habits sometimes.
Yeah.
But all that to say, a yacht for $1 billion. For $1 billion, I just can't.
I know it's a lot. I think to me, it's like I wanted to talk about that a bit too, that you brought up, Court. It's like, it is that idea where I think maybe what this is, maybe I'm just giving a little bit of a warning. Maybe I'm just going, hey, let's just make sure like, I am for pray, believe, fast for, contend for, like literally go to war in the spirit for things from God. Like he is a good father who gives good gifts, who wants to give you things, who knows the desires of your heart, who wants to give you a life that's exceedingly and abundantly more. Like we can talk about it all day long, but if that's your motivation for Jesus, you've missed it.
100%.
And I think that's maybe the bigger conversation. Like if your motivation for Jesus is like, I'm going to this church or doing this thing because I'm going to get X, Y, and Z out of this, you've missed literally everything Jesus died for. Like Jesus died on a cross so that he could be intimately woven back into the fabric of your life. And when I think when you just use God as a vending machine, which is great language, I think you diminish what Jesus really did on the cross.
100%.
So I guess this is just my warning. I would say I'm a big dreamer. I'm a big believer. I have nothing against nice things. I like nice things. But I think you need to be careful, especially the young generation that goes, oh, MrBeast, like he's awesome. He just bought $1 million boat. I want to be MrBeast. Okay, great. What happens when you're MrBeast? What are you doing with your money when you're MrBeast? Because MrBeast just spent $1 billion on a boat. That gives nobody value. It does nothing for anybody. Like heavenly, eternally.
He's probably taking it to do mission trips in the Cayman Islands.
Yeah. He's gonna house orphans on it
for Jesus.
Yeah, he's suffering in that $1 billion boat, dude. But that's just what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, hey, let's learn to prioritize. I think those things, and I think I'm giving that warning of people. If you find yourself intrigued and attracted to those things, I would just say, hey, maybe give them to the Lord and say, like, hey, Lord, why am I driven by these factors? Why am I driven by these things? Not that they're bad. Not that, like, I haven't even said to myself, hey, when I sign my first big book deal, I'm going to buy a Rolex. You know, it's like those things. Like, it's not that those things are bad. I'm just saying, like, what's the motivation? Why'd you write the book? Did you write the book for the Rolex or did you write the book for impact? Those things. Any thoughts, Maddie? B?
Yeah, you chase after God's heart, you'll get what's in his hand.
Absolutely.
And I think just this generation, our generation, sometimes we just get that backwards.
Yeah.
We think, man, if we chase after what's in his hand, then we'll get the things of his heart. But the Lord's more concerned about our character.
Yeah.
Than the cool things that we'll receive
absolutely
later down the road. So
yeah, absolutely good word. All right, you want to end on one more? Which one do you want to do?
Yeah, well, last one's takeover of AI.
Let's do it, dude. Let's do it.
I got really no notes on this one. I just think it's wild.
I think it's wild too.
People are just potentially probably just going to lose a lot of jobs over this thing.
Yeah. What do you think about AI? I know you started using it a lot.
Yeah, I like made the decision so quickly that I wasn't going to be left in the dust.
Yeah.
With AI, like
I got left in the dust with TikTok, and I'm trying to do the same thing with AI. I don't
Yeah.
want to get left in the dust.
So I just I mean, that's real.
Yeah.
So, and it's like people that wouldn't just freaking use the internet for so long. Like, oh, you know, so we can't be that. The church is the most technologically behind. There I am making up words. Technologically, the church is the most technologically behind the rest of the world than any other category of business, I would say. So I think it's important that we do talk about this stuff. AI is for sure going to put so many people out of jobs as it continues to develop. I think it will end up taking over. I really, really do. They don't even know. That's the scariest part, is that they don't know.
They don't.
For Elon Musk and what's the CEO of Apple's name? I don't know, but for these, it was like the two of them and four other guys, they literally came together and said, we have to stop development for the next 6 months until we figure out some type of foundational safety net for this.
Yeah, I know. That's scary.
And that's scary. It also means that we don't know half of what's going on actually in the real world. Russia's been building superhumans for the last like 10 years. So the fact that
superhumans, pause.
Oh my gosh.
Human testing?
Like they've been building like Captain America's.
Like if you watch Jimmy Evans talk about the end times, he goes through this huge...
I don't even know who Jimmy Evans is. The preacher?
Yeah.
The preacher is doing end times thing. Jimmy Evans, the preacher.
It's like 2 years ago that he put this out, but yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Jimmy?
Jimmy Evans is like an insanely amazing marriage counselor, but he was acting as the lead pastor at Gateway while Pastor Robert was going through his health thing. So he was doing like general preaching things, and he did a series on the end times.
And he talked about how Russia's making superhumans.
Yes. And he talks about how in the Bible...
Do we have time to get into this?
He talks about how in the Bible where they talk about the Israelites, like, I'm probably going to butcher it, but he discusses like this theory of like angels and people procreating together.
It's called Nephilim. Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
Okay, well, when I heard that, I had never heard it before. So
You never heard of the Nephilim?
No.
It's in scripture. Maddie looks like a big Nephilim guy. You a big fan?
I don't really know too much about it.
Okay.
I know it's an Old Testament topic, though.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that it is in the Bible and you don't believe in aliens?
Yeah, because they're called
joking.
Nephilim. It just
I'm
brings it back to
joking. I'm
aliens
joking.
somehow. What were we even talking about?
Wait, I have a question.
We were talking about
Are these
AI.
superhumans that they're testing in Russia? Are they 10 feet tall, and do they come in green light space
Flashes.
ships?
They are really tall.
Are they in Vegas?
Okay, I feel like this is not a conspiracy podcast. So we can talk about this privately.
You
maybe,
were the
but
one
like,
that wanted to bring up aliens and AI in the same conversation.
Well,
how can we not get into conspiracy theories?
I just said aliens are funny. I just wanted to talk about what we're seeing here, and then the AI thing was Maddie B's idea, and
AI is real from a consumer standpoint. Yes, I use it. I think it's great.
Yes, we all know AI is real. Courtney.
Yeah, AI is real. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying that the terror that can come one day of it really taking over the globe, I think is also very, very possible.
No, I agree. I think it's it still actually blows my mind every time I use it what it's capable of.
I think it's part of the end times for sure.
Again, these statements Courtney is making on this podcast are so crazy, but potentially you're right.
Okay, Elon Musk said that in the next 10 years, society will not look anything like it looks today. And I'm not saying that means that the end times are happening in the next 10 years. I'm just saying that when you look at the finished painting that's painted for us in the Bible of what the end times look like, we sure are getting a lot closer to it quicker than like our parents and their parents.
Agreed. I would agree. I'd agree.
So
I don't know how we got here from AI, but I agree. I don't know how we got to end times
That's
from
all
AI.
my brain can think about when I think about AI.
Yeah, my brain thinks about iRobot.
That's what I'm saying. And what happens in iRobot? The world ends.
Yeah, my brain thinks about iRobot. I'm like, I don't know. It just gets scary how much these movies, like, how close they get sometimes. Like AI, like taking over, like through, because what they are trying to do is they are trying to create like bodies to house AI. Robotic bodies.
Yes, superhumans.
Not human bodies, robotic bodies to house AI. And maybe Courtney knows something I don't. She's looking at me like she does.
Superhumans.
Superhumans is
I'm
a wild.
Googling this.
I'm putting superhumans in the description. But yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I just thought AI is an interesting thing to talk about. Maybe we can talk about on next what's going on in this world. But yeah, I think when it comes to AI, it's like with everything, approach with caution.
Yeah.
But also like not to the point where like you're so afraid of things. Like know who's in control, know who is powerful, know where your authority is, and use AI for your SEO, and use AI to write your podcast descriptions and whatever you're using it for.
Did you ever read about that report that like AI was threatening the user who was like asking it questions?
I did see that.
I don't know where I saw it, but I remember reading something about that, and I was kind of like, "That's wild."
Yeah, the AI
To be
like
threatened by AI.
the AI was getting mad.
Yeah,
Yeah, at the person for asking it certain questions.
yeah.
What's scary is when you give AI emotion.
Oh, yeah. It told me the other day I asked something offensive. It used the word offensive.
Like you offended it.
Yeah, because
it just gets
my
scared.
husband, his Spanish is his first language. I asked it to translate it into Spanish, and he was like, yeah, that's really accurate, but that dialect of Spanish is extremely high class, and a normal person wouldn't speak that way. So I said to it, can you regenerate this in a lower form of a lower class of Spanish dialect? And it was like, the term that you just used is extremely offensive. I think what you were trying to say is, can you please regenerate this in a more casual conversation? I said, I'm sorry.
Did AI just gaslight you?
It did. And it was like, I said, I'm sorry. And it goes, it's okay. But I think it's really important that we understand how to describe people in the way that they speak.
AI, if you scold me, I will slap you. AI, literally. All right, I think that's all we got today. We got to get off
Okay, but
this
I would
thing.
just like to end this with the headlines. When you Google Russia superhumans,
Oh, no, Court.
Russia and the Ukraine are going back on experimental mutant troops. Russia's calling Ukraine's troops super troops. I keep saying the Ukraine, it's offensive to a lot of people. Ukraine is calling Russian soldiers superhumans. And they're going back and forth about the race to who can. Russia accuses Ukraine of using mutant soldiers. Vladimir Putin warns the superhuman soldiers of the future that are to come. Russian lawmakers blame losses on experimental Ukraine super soldiers.
I just have one question. How do I get a hold of this serum? You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, if this is like what we think might be out there, it's actually out there. We don't know about it.
Court, I think you missed the purpose of this podcast. This is not conspiracy hour.
What? How can we look
It
at
is
this
for
through
me.
a biblical lens?
Yeah, how are we supposed
Okay.
to process that through a bit? I'm supposed to be like the pastor in this conversation. I'm at a loss right now.
Peace be still.
Peace be still. I think, you know what I think?
I think we got to
Great
go.
point. We do have to go.
I'm going to let you make your point, but I'm going to go stand over
No,
there.
no. Stay here. Just kidding. You can go. I think this is the point I'm making. The point is, all of this stuff can happen in the world, and you can be on an emotional roller coaster if you stay very close to these things. Fear, lots of feelings, anxiety, all these types of things. You don't know what to believe. You don't know what's true. Superhumans to AI to aliens to Donald Trump getting arrested to MrBeast bought $1 billion. I'll probably say this every single what's going on in the world. We can process and look all of these things, and we can be anxious about all of these things, but you need to focus purely and mostly on one thing. His name is Jesus. You need to focus purely and mostly on the presence of God. You need to focus purely and mostly on who's in control, what his promise is for your life, his promise of eternity, the peace that he can give you, the peace that you can have in him when you have intimacy with him. You can focus on all these things and have chaos in your life, or you can focus on Jesus and have a peace beyond understanding. And I think that's the purpose of these episodes, I think, is to encourage, have fun, talk about crazy things, and then just at the baseline go, hey, truthfully, none of it matters if you have Jesus. None of it is as powerful as you think it is, because we know the King of Kings. So
have fun editing this one.
Yeah, this is going to be awful. Love you so much, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Be sure to subscribe. If you thought this episode was fun, share with a friend. And also, if you like this new, what do we call this, a segment? This new segment we're doing, let us know in the comments everywhere if you enjoyed it, and we'll continue doing it. Love you guys. Catch you in the next one. See ya.